Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, PDP crisis deepens. Damagum takes over from Iyorchia Ayu as acting national chairman. NLC suspends planned picketing of CBN offices, monitors progress in 2 weeks. President Muhammadu Buhari flags off oil drilling in Nasarawa State. And on the international scene, fire at migrant detention facility in Mexico kills 39 men. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Now the news in detail. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party on Tuesday appointed the Deputy National Chairman North, Umar Iliya Damagum, as the acting national chairman of the party. Addressing a press conference at the party headquarters in Abuja, the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Debo Ologunaba, said the appointment follows the order of the Benue State High Court and is in line with Section 45, subsection 2 of the Constitution of the PDP as amended in 2017. The NWC charged all leaders, critical stakeholders, members and supporters of the party to remain calm and united at this critical time. Away from that story, the Nigeria Labour Congress has suspended the proposed picketing of all Central Bank of Nigeria offices nationwide in order The Nigeria Labour Congress has suspended the proposed picketing of all Central Bank of Nigeria offices nationwide in order to monitor the cash situation in the country for the next 2 weeks. President of the NLC, Joe Ajero, Trade Union Congress counterpart Festus Osifo made Labour's position known while addressing the press after the NLC-NEC meeting in Abuja. Noel Sampson has more.
With the reintroduction of old currency into circulation, many Nigerians expected that life will return to normal when it comes to cash availability. Another expectation was that the long queues in banks will come to an end, but the situation seems to not have changed. This made the Nigeria Labour Congress to issue an order directing members to embark on a nationwide picketing of all central bank branches from the 29th of March, but the CBN's intervention through release of more cash. The labor unions have now suspended the action with a view to monitoring the situation for the next 2 weeks.
There is compliance by CBN, but the NLC, after its NEC meeting, doubted the sustainability of that compliance, and we felt that we have to monitor this compliance for the next 2 weeks to see whether it is sustainable. They have rushed to move money to commercial banks, and some of those commercial banks are getting empty again. Queues are returning in some of them. So it will be very naive for the Congress to hurriedly call off the action. Whereas we are not shutting down tomorrow, we want to loosen up for another 2 weeks with committees set up at the national level and in all the states of the Federation to coordinate the level of compliance.
The President Trade Union Congress, Festus Osifo, said unions will reverse to its earlier decision if the situation does not improve.
As we've always said, most of the politicians, they have 2 passports, but an average Nigerian worker is condemned to remain in Nigeria. The confidence in the system has been eroded. Because that confidence has been eroded, CBN needs to do much more. They need to pump much more money into the Nigerian economy. If they had withdrew 2 trillion, 3 trillion, they need to even put much more than that for that confidence to restore. If that confidence has restored back and we have returned back to normalcy, then they can now go back to start monitoring and using all their fiscal tools or their monetary tools as it deemed fit.
NLC and TUC assured Nigerians of always having the well-being of all workers at heart and pledged to protect such interests through every action they take. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
In the same vein, a swift response of the federal government and prevailing on the Central Bank of Nigeria was what averted the proposed nationwide strike and picketing of branches of the Apex Bank of the by the NLC. Minister of Labour and Employment Chris Ngige revealed this on Tuesday when he briefed newsmen at State House Abuja on the state of things in the labour and employment sector. Kende Amodu reports.
The NLC has suspended action for 2 weeks and is observing to see if banks will comply with CBN directives and improve the cash crunch situation. The Labour Minister is optimistic that the swift positive response by the CBN to the demands of the union is a strong show of goodwill. This, he believes, has bought the Apex Bank enough time to fix the dysfunction in the sector.
The Nigerian Labour Congress wrote us to say that the cashless policy is affecting Nigerians very badly, and that among these Nigerians is affecting that their members are affected. When they did that, we had to forward the letter to the CBN governor and told him in our own letter that he should act promptly because they gave a deadline. The deadline expired last Friday, and we acted before that Friday. And we asked the CBN to also act before that Friday.
The Labour Minister is also throwing the book at the NLC, pointing out that with his intervention, it is expected that the dispute has been arrested.
But as much as it is, the important thing that we have emphasized to them that we have apprehended this dispute. And by Section 7(8) of Trade Disputes Act, once the minister apprehends and starts conciliation on it, you maintain status quo ante bellum.
However, it is unclear how much the unions have sheathed their swords, as they have given the CBN 2 more weeks to put things right and end the cash scarcity being experienced in the country. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has flagged off oil drilling at Ebenyi, a well in Obi local government area of Nasarawa State. Abubakar Abdullahi reports that studies leading to the discovery of oil deposits in the area have been carried out for more than a decade. The report.
The ceremony that marks the beginning of oil exploration in Nasarawa State, President Muhammadu Buhari said his administration is focused on oil and gas exploration in the nation's frontier basins, including the Chad Basin. The flag-off of Ebenyi oil well is first of its kind in the Benue Throw and second to Kolmani oil well that was commissioned last year in the northeast. President Buhari, who speaks virtually, said the newfound oil deposit will create job opportunities and prosperity for the people.
Today's occasion marks the official commencement of exploration drilling activities in the Middle Benue Trough. This is consistent with the commercial discoveries of hydrocarbons in the Kolmani area of Upper Benue Trough. I am pleased to note that activities are currently ongoing to develop the Kolmani petroleum discoveries.
Flagging off the Ebenyi A well on behalf of the President, Nasarawa State Governor Abdullahi Sule appreciated the federal government and Nigeria National Petroleum Company Limited for discovery and speeding the process of oil drilling in the area.
Let me make a special appeal to you, Mr. President, and of course the NNPC. With the strong competition, as was strongly indicated, that the fossil oil is getting right now from green energy, we would like to appeal, Mr. President, that the NNPC should expedite the development of this field, while congratulating the NNPC once more on the concept of the integrated field development that was just carried out in Gombe.
NNPC Group Managing Director Mele Kyari expressed optimism that the possible outcome will contribute greatly to the country's gross domestic product.
Then we have mobilized drilling into site here in the local government of Nasarawa State. We are optimistic that the positive outcome of this campaign will contribute to national aspiration of increasing our carbon reserve from 37 billion barrels to 50 billion barrels in the short to medium term and increase our crude oil production to the target of 3 billion barrels per day.
On behalf of our people and the people of this land, we are known for our hospitality. We are known for people that have never shown any kind of militants or things that are out of the ordinary.
The discovery of oil in parts of Nasarawa State has raised hopes and expectations of the people that the discovery will bring lots of benefits to them.
Fire on Monday erupted inside a 5-story building at the Balogun Market in Lagos State. Footages of the incident, which has since gone viral on social media, shows smoke billowing from the structure. The director of Lagos State Fire Service, Adeshaye Margaret, in a statement, said the blaze was later put out by emergency responders. Goods worth millions of naira were destroyed in the incident. The incident is the latest in a series of fire outbreaks in markets in Lagos State. About 2 weeks ago, an inferno gutted the Akere Motor Spare Parts Market in Apapa, Jegule area of the state. Now moving on to security, bandits in Kaduna on Sunday killed a baby born by an abducted pregnant mother, Shamsia Mustafa. Confirming the incident via phone on Tuesday, a relative of the victim, Yakubu Detti, said the woman was delivered of a baby at the bandits' den on Sunday. Daily Trust had reported that the woman, her husband, Mustafa, and her 16-year-old daughter, Mahapaza Mustafa, were abducted by bandits at their residence in Janjala community in Kagarko local government area of Kaduna State on February 5, 2023. The bandits, however, freed the woman's husband, Mustafa, after they collected 2 million naira ransom, including a brand new motorcycle and foodstuff, but they held his pregnant wife and daughter and demanded another 2 million naira before the woman and her daughter could be set free. The bandits, after releasing the woman, held her daughter in their captivity and demanded for 1.5 million naira before the girl will be set free. Relatives of the victim said when they tried to inquire from the bandits' leader about the newborn baby, the bandits' leader told the family that they had killed the baby. Police operatives in Katsina have neutralized one terrorist on Yantomaiki Musa Road on Monday. The terrorist, who blocked the road at the early hours of Monday, killed one ASP Tanimu Mamman Maidabino in the process. A statement signed by Police Public Relations Officer SP Gambo Isa said police operatives from the Musa Division responded swiftly and engaged the hoodlums into a gun duel. While combing the nearby bushes, the police operatives recovered a body of terrorist who was killed in the process. Though a search party is still combing the nearby bushes, the police advised residents to report any suspicious person with gunshot wounds to the nearest police station for investigation. The residents of the Musa confirmed the killing, saying hardly a day passes by without recording terrorist attack. On health, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention says in less than 3 months, the country has registered 784 confirmed cases of Lassa fever with 142 deaths across 23 states. The NCDC, via its official website, said on Tuesday that the infections were recorded from 1st January to date. It said in the epidemiological week 11, the number of new confirmed cases decreased from 70 in week 10 of 2023 to 38 cases. The agency said that the cases were reported from Edo, Ondo, Ebonyi, Bauchi, Taraba, Benue, Rivers, Plateau, and Nasarawa states. NCDC said that cumulatively from epidemiological week 1 to week 11, 2023, 142 deaths had been reported with a case fatality rate of 18.1%, which was lower than the 18.7% case fatality rate for the same period in 2022. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustapha, has assured Nigerians of a peaceful transfer of power come May 29, 2023. Mustapha stated this while briefing newsmen on the activities of the Transition Committee in Abuja. At the briefing, the SGF boss Mustapha said 3 committees with 13 subcommittees have been set up to ensure a hitch-free inauguration of the president-elect on the 29th of May 2023. Mustapha says key players in the country, especially security agencies, are working round the clock to ensure that the transition is successfully executed. He also promised Nigerians an inauguration ceremony that will be the envy of governments around the world.
For the President and Vice President-elect, provision of covered and overt security before, during and after the 2023 presidential inauguration, including venues of events, hotels, airports, entry points, roads, and general surveillance of the FCT. The committee is headed by the National Security Advisor to the President. Protocol officers have also been assigned to both the President and Vice President-elect from the Foreign Ministry and the National Intelligence Agency. The transition process is therefore on course, and all efforts are being made to ensure that it is smooth, and on May 29th, by the grace of God, there will be a peaceful, formal transfer of power from President Muhammadu Buhari to the new President, His Excellency Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Thank you for your kind attention.
The President-elect Bola Tinubu has nominated 2 persons into the Presidential Transition Council. The 2 slots were reserved for the President-elect and the Transition Council President Muhammadu Buhari set up before the elections. On Tuesday, Secretary of the Government of the Federation and Chairman of the PTC, Boss Mustapha, disclosed that Kebbi State Governor Atiku Bagudu and a former Commissioner for Finance in Lagos State, Olawale Edun, had been nominated as members of the council. Mustapha assured that the transition process was on course, adding that efforts were being made to ensure a peaceful transfer of power to the new president. Speaking at the first interface between the PTC and the media since its inauguration by Buhari, Mustapha said since the inauguration, the council has met 4 times, adding that the 5th held on Tuesday. President-elect Bola Tinubu has cancelled his 71st birthday colloquium and instead fixed prayers for the country. A statement issued by the President-elect spokesman Tunde Rahman said Tinubu has directed that special prayers and Thanksgiving service be held on Wednesday, March 29, 2023, instead of the yearly birthday colloquium. The special prayers will be held in Lagos and in other parts of the country. The statement added that the Lagos special prayers will be offered at the Central Mosque in each of the 5 divisions in the state, including the Central Mosque Alausa, Ikeja. During the prayer session, special prayers will be offered for the peace, unity, and progress of the country. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break, lamentation of poor community living in oil-rich Rivers State. Stay with us.
Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
That's great. Good to see you.
Welcome back and thanks for staying with us. If you're just joining us, you're watching News Hour on Trust TV, a recap of our top stories. We told you that PDP crisis deepens. Damagum takes over from Ayucha Ayu as acting national chairman. You also heard that NLC suspends planned picketing of CBN offices, monitors progress in 2 weeks. Moving on October 31st, 2022, Iyorchia Ayu emerged as PDP national chairman through consensus, and on March 16, 2022, the PDP set up 37-member zoning committee headed by Benue State Governor Samuel Ortom to harmonize the sharing formula for positions in the party. On May 11, 2022, the PDP dumped the zoning arrangement and made the presidential contest open, which led to the emergence of former Vice President Atiku Abubakar as the party's presidential candidate after defeating Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike on June 16, 2022. Atiku Abubakar picked Delta State Governor Okowa as running mate instead of Wike. This led to further cracks in the party, as many had thought Atiku should have picked Wike. Consequently, Wike floated the G5 group of aggrieved governors on November 19, 2022, called the Integrity Group, which demanded the resignation of Iyorchia Ayu. On October 3, 2022, Walid Jibrin resigned as PDP BOT chair and Adolphus Wabara took over. On March 24, 2023, RU's ward executives suspended him on allegation of anti-party activities after a no vote of confidence, and March 27, 2023, a high court in Makurdi restrained the PDP national chairman from parading himself as chairman pending hearing of a suit against him. On Tuesday, March 28, RU finally stepped aside and the Deputy National Chairman, North, stepped in as acting chairman. Now moving on to more stories. As the race to occupy the coveted position in the 10th National Assembly continues, Chief Whip of the Senate and Senator representing Abia North in the National Assembly, Orji Uzor Kalu, says the Southeast deserves the Senate presidency. The former governor of Abia State told newsmen at State House Abuja on Tuesday that if the president of the Senate in the 10th Assembly is zoned to the Southeast, he's the best candidate that can bring about needed unity and peace across the country. He spoke after a private meeting with President Muhammadu Buhari. Kende Amodu reports.
Senator Orji Uzor Kalu is one of the few ranking senators left in the ruling party from the Southeast after the Labour Party's tsunami during the February 25th elections. But he is not discouraged that the Southeast region contributed the smallest amount of votes to the victory of the APC in the presidential and National Assembly polls. Neither does he subscribe to the argument that the poor showing of the APC in the region during the elections should determine what positions should go to it.
Peace and peaceful of this country is more important than number of votes we have brought. I want people to realize that we need to concentrate our energy in manufacturing things out of Aba and Newi and all the rest of them.
Senator Kalu's conversation with the president focused on key issues and realities in the red chambers, particularly on the determination of the 9th Senate to enshrine a lasting legacy of people-oriented legislations. What is important to the Senate Chief Whip is equity, fairness, and justice, which he believes zoning the Senate presidency to the Southeast will accomplish.
I think that I will be a solution to what they're looking for. I will be a team Nigeria. I will play Nigeria first, Nigeria second, and Nigeria last.
While Senator Uzor Kalu is grateful to the federal government for the huge impact it had made on the entire infrastructural landscape of the Southeast in the last 8 years, he believes the Southeast Senate presidency would be an icing on the cake. And his bargaining chip is peace and unity. From State House Abuja, Kehinde Amodu, Trust TV News.
Mixed reactions have continued to trail the announcement of April 15th as the new date for the conduct of supplementary governorship election in 77 polling units of Adamawa State. Both APC and PDP leaders and their supporters are optimistic of getting a clear winner this time around as against the inconclusive election that was earlier announced by INEC on the 20th of March. Silas Lowang tells us more.
INEC has assured Adamawa residents and Nigerians at large that it will conduct credible supplementary governorship election in Adamawa State that will be the pride of Nigerians and of the international community on 15 April. Both APC and PDP leadership candidates and their supporters have been urged to see the exercise as an election, not a war. They were also cautioned to avoid inflammable statements that are capable of inciting violence amongst the populace.
Let me urge our loyal party supporters to be law-abiding, to be peaceful. Adamawa State is peaceful. We are law-abiding, and we will continue to be law-abiding. And we don't want to witness any chaos.
We should be very peaceful and orderly. We should be mindful that Adamawa belongs to all of us. Anybody who emerges in this election should be Adamawa State Governor, not APC State Governor, not PDP Governor or SDP Governor, but Adamawa State Governor. So we should embrace that.
While reiterating their commitment of coming out in their numbers to elect leaders of their choice, some Yola residents expressed hope that the supplementary election will be conducted peacefully.
We'll all wait until 15 April to know who will be the governor of Adamawa State. Is either Adamawa will be the first state to enter the Guinness Book of Record, or we will continue the mandate of Governor Amadou Fintiri. But what I know is that after 15 April, as INEC announced, we will know who will be our governor.
Either INEC is going to refix or refix till December. We are here to vote who we want. INEC will not force us to vote who they like, but we people will vote who we want. That's all what I'm. And my expectation is that the good Lord will favor the work of all the people. Security and justice will enter their mind, being it Muslim or Christian, to favor well.
Although governorship and legislative elections have been concluded in most parts of Nigeria, the elections were declared inconclusive in Adamawa due to the fact that the council vote at the election were more than the margin of victory between PDP and APC. Silas Lawan, Trust TV News, Yola.
Voters in Kaduna State have been reminded to be law-abiding and conduct themselves in an orderly manner in the forthcoming rerun elections in some parts of the state. The Vice Chairman, Kaduna Peace Commission, Dr. Saleh Momale, said this at a press briefing in Kaduna ahead of the rerun election. The report.
The rerun will take place in certain polling units in the state. In order to have a violence-free rerun election, Kaduna State Peace Commission appealed to voters in the affected polling units in different parts of the state to shun anything capable of creating chaos during the rerun election.
We note that there are few House of Assembly constituencies to be concluded, urging citizens to ensure that the by-elections are also conducted peacefully.
According to the Commission, the rerun could only be successful if the stakeholders involved abide by the rules and regulations of the election, where the Commission urged all the political parties to shun inciting statements.
We are strongly appealing to political parties, the electoral bodies, the media, and other stakeholders to refrain from incitements, provocation, and exploiting existing ethno-religious divides in political discourse and campaigns.
The Commission also urged voters, political parties, and other stakeholders to take the results of the rerun election in good faith. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
A coalition of INEC-accredited observer groups for credible elections in Nigeria has called on the Independent National Electoral Commission to review the collation of results in the just concluded governorship and House of Assembly elections in Kaduna State. According to the coalition, the call became imperative following reports of electoral misconduct such as vote buying, the bimodal voters accreditation system malfunction, collation glitches, and non-upload of results on INEC results viewing portal in real time in southern Kaduna, among others. Trust TV's Aisha Salihu reports.
The Independent National Electoral Commission is under pressure to review the March 18 governorship and State House of Assembly elections in Kaduna State, where evidence of malpractices has been established. The coalition of accredited observer group are asking the Commission to ensure a review of allegations of voter suppression and vote buying based on provisions of the law.
So that is why we are calling on INEC and calling on Nigeria to please help us to review the collation of the result. Like in southern Kaduna, most of the polling units the collation center in southern Kaduna, we feel that they will review that area.
Although the general conduct of the elections in polling units within the registration area wards in each local governments of the state were said to be transparent at the initial stage, some anomalies were, however, recorded during upload of results which were not done in real time.
Collation, there was a little hitches, and we are calling on them to review the result they announced in Kaduna State.
These observers are calling on INEC to review the upload of results on the iRev, as well as collation and announcement, as part of efforts to uphold the electoral body's commitment and mandate of conducting and delivering free, fair and credible elections to strengthen Nigeria's democratic process. Aisha Salihu, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thank you, Aisha, for that report. Now, the House of Representatives has approved some changes to the 2016 to 2018 medium-term external borrowing rolling plan as requested by the Federal Ministry of Finance. The approved changes pertain to financial proposals for the Nigerian Railway Modernization Project, which covers Kaduna-Zaria-Kano segment. The report.
The Senate and House of Representatives had earlier approved $22.7 billion for the project to be financed by the China Exim Bank. But the bank withdrew its support for the project, which led to the engagement of China Development Bank as an alternative financier. The lawmakers considered and approved the change of the project financier from China Exim Bank to China Development Bank and harmonized its terms, including maturity period of 15 years. The House also extended the implementation period for the 2022 supplementary budget and capital component of the 2022 appropriation to 30th June 2023.
Also aware to secure the funds for the project, the contractor CCECC Nigeria Limited, in collaboration with the Federal Ministry of Transportation, engaged China Development Bank as the new financier in the sum of $974,971.38 only. House resolved that it rescinds its decision on the financier and harmonize terms and approve the change of financier from China Exim Bank to China Development Bank.
Away from that, a bill for an act to amend the Federal Character Commission scaled second reading in the House of Representatives. Leading the debate, Representative Unyime Idem said the bill made provision for appointment of the FCC chairman and secretary from different parts of the country to reflect the principle of federal character.
F7, Laws of the Federation of Nigeria 2004, to make provision for the appointment of chairman and secretary from different regions of the country to reflect the principle of federal character, and for related matter, HB 1563, be read for a second time. Mr. Speaker, I so move.
The House also observed a minute's silence in honor of late General Oladipo Dia.
The late General studied law at Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, where he obtained an LLB degree. And then in the Nigerian law, he was called to the Nigerian bar, where he was called to the bar and solicitor and advocate of the Supreme Court of Nigeria. That General Dia, a commander, 31-year born brigade command, he was appointed military governor and still on that. That he played a significant and stabilizing role during one of the most turbulent periods in our nation's history, in the aftermath of June 12, 1993.
A delegation to visit the family, please say aye. Those against, please say nay. Ayes have it. 1 minute silence, please.
The House resolved to send a 6-man delegation headed by a principal officer to visit the family of the late general.
Residents and members of Joinkrama clan in Ahoda West local government area of the Rivers State have expressed worries over the level of environmental degradation, poverty and neglect in the area, despite having 48 oil wells operated by multinational companies. The community, which housed at Dibawa oil field, operated by one of the oil giants, suffers poverty, environmental degradation and neglect, with roads network cut off by flood and erosion. The report.
The negative impact of the year 2022 flood during rainy season to the people of Joinkrama clan in Ahoda West local government areas of Rivers State cannot be overemphasized. They said the year 2022 flood really dealt with them, where their crops were destroyed and most of them were rendered homeless, with the access to road networks completely broken. adding that despite having a number of oil companies operated by the multinational companies in the community, the area is among the most backward communities. Some residents who spoke with newsmen during a community dialogue on the issues of oil pollution lamented over lack of potable water, as the Orashi River, which serves as their major source of water in the area, is highly polluted with crude oil.
When we farm, our cassava is not producing anything. Even the natural crops that God gives to us is not producing, and they are falling down, up and down. Both monkey rice, bush mango, and all other trees. In our river, we don't have fish. Every time crude oil is floating in our river. When we go to catch fish in the river, we did not kill anything. That is what we are suffering for in this JK1.
One of the greatest experience we've had in this area is the flooding. The flood, the thing has been disturbing people all over. Like in this local area like this, farming, if I may say, is their major trading. And come to see it, some of the crops like that might not really get matured before the flooding season. And because of that, it's bringing poverty. If you watch around, poverty is really showing on the faces of everybody, families and all the rest. So the flooding has been an issue in this area like that.
Joy Kramer is extremely important for this dialogue because this is one of the communities that gets completely submerged during flooding, like the last flood in Nigeria in 2022. Just looking around the buildings, you can find the level that the flooding got to. We're also here because there are key issues relating to oil exploration, oil and gas exploration in this area. There's been a lot of oil spills over the decades, not just recent. There's been a lot of human rights abuses and repression of the people, and we thought we should hear from them. We're believing that if authorities were attentive to the cries of the people, if they were attentive to what is going on in these communities, the situation would not be what it was now. This is a community that is heavily impacted by global warming.
The dialogue and training sessions created platform for convergence of community in the region to have actionable plans for needed changes.
The federal government has reiterated its commitment to secure Nigeria's borders to ensure internal security in the country. The Minister of Interior, Rauf Aregbesola, said this at the opening of Passport Front Office and Production Center of the Nigeria Immigration Service in Ilesha, Osun State. He said the center is part of the efforts to address the challenges encountered by Nigerians in applying for and obtaining the Nigerian passport. Aregbesola noted that the surge in the number of applications necessitated the establishment of more passport front offices across the country.
New forward base operations or centers, new forward operation bases are created to ensure that the needed support system is available to ensure their seamless operation and readiness to counter any challenge at the borders. In line with the national policy of creating a central identity database for ease of national administration and national security. This is why the NIN is linked with passport application. Your data must include order of name. And let me explain. My name is Rauf Adesoji Aregbesola. That is the name, that's the name on my NIN. If I now change it to Adesoji Rauf Aregbesola, I will have problem applying for passport.
Islamic Development Bank will collaborate with the federal government in the execution of special agricultural programs to take many Nigerians out of poverty. Team leader of Islamic Development Bank, Javed Khan, said this in Ilorin during a supervision mission of the implementation of the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone project in Kwara State. The report.
The Islamic Development Bank is currently collaborating with 3 states in Nigeria on how to enhance agriculture across the country. In Kwara State, production of dairy products will be pursued as the bank says the country has all it takes to solve poverty challenges confronting the people through agriculture. Javed Khan noted that the project will train farmers on the rudimentary aspects, starting from production, processing to the stage where the produce will be taken to the market.
This is a big program in Nigeria covering many states, out of which Islamic Development Bank is covering Kwara, Kano and FCTA. So there is when people look at the importance of this program, every state is now interested. And on behalf of the Islamic Development Bank, I give you this surety that IDB is your bank. This is the Bank of Nigeria. This is the bank of 57 member countries. We are ready to help the people of Nigeria in agriculture sector and health sector and every sector where the government seek our assistance. When the government requests us to step in any particular sector.
He urged state governments where the projects will be sited to give it the required support to enable it succeed. Kwara State Governor Abdurrahman Abdurazak, represented by the State Commissioner for Agriculture and Rural Development, Abdul Latif Alakawa, said the state government has embarked on different agricultural programs to improve food production.
We are currently improving food production capacity and efficiency, increasing value addition to agriculture, and promoting investment in agribusiness. We are committed to lifting Kwarans from the shackles of poverty through various opportunities available in agriculture by providing the needed infrastructure that will scale up agricultural commercialization and catalyze agro-processing activities and rural development in the state. Based on our commitment to optimize the full potential of the state as an endowed agrarian environment, our administration has signed a funding agreement with Islamic Development Bank in respect of the Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone project to develop an agro-industrial hub on livestock production with special emphasis on dairy production and processing in Kwara State.
He said that the state government will collaborate with the Islamic Development Bank and other stakeholders in transforming rural economies into viable and sustainable commercial cities. The project coordinator, Special Agro-Industrial Processing Zone, Dr. Busari Isiaka, said the bank will ensure viability of the project in the state where it is implemented.
6 days into the month of Ramadan, prices of foodstuff in Katsina remain stable, unlike previously when these prices of essential commodity goes up when Muslims begin fasting. Abdullahi Ahmadi speaks to some yam, fish and meat sellers in Katsina State on the level of patronage in this month. His report.
In the past, prices of essential commodities during Ramadan fast record sharp increase, but the situation is not the same this year as prices remain relatively down. Prices of yam, sweet and Irish potatoes, however, differ depending on the size and quality.
The price before this time is 2,400 or 2,200, but now it's 1,800 per crate. Before, we sell 10 crate, 20 up to 30 crate per day, but now only 10, 5 per day.
The price of the fish, there is one for saying jack mackerel, which some us of Katsina saying sardine, selling it as 28,000 before Ramadan, but the time of Ramadan selling it as 27,000. The kilo of it is 1,400 now. Before Ramadan is 1,450. Then there is some ones which are saying Titus, in Katsina saying Sukumbia. They are selling it in 34,000 before Ramadan, but now selling it at 3,000. There is deduct 300 in each kilo of this type of Titus.
This Katsina resident said he has to shelve all that is not necessary for him to go for what is necessary, like maize, millet, guinea corn, just to put body and soul together, even as prices remain stubborn. According to him, what explains the stability is the question of demand and supply, noting that the stability of the prices of essential commodities is recorded because people have little or nothing to buy goods.
We are
I really appreciate with the price is cheaper than before. Before Ramadan, the price is very high. The situation we are on Ramadan period, so they reduce the price. I really appreciate.
Most of these traders and other sellers say they are experiencing low patronage because majority of their customers are salary earners who have not been paid this month's salary in Katsina. Residents try to look for the easiest alternative at this trying moment of harsh economic realities. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
You're still watching News Hour on Trust TV. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
Nigeria's gross external reserves have fallen to $35.74 billion as of March 24, 2023. This is the lowest balance since September 20, 2021, when the reserves fell to $35.73 billion, according to the data from the Central Bank of Nigeria. A cursory look at the data also shows that the external reserves dropped by $938.14 million in just 1 month, when compared with the $36.69 billion that was recorded on February 27, 2023, putting more pressure on the country's foreign exchange market and economic stability. However, despite the consistent drop in Nigeria's external reserves since the beginning of the year, President Muhammadu Buhari's administration is on track to leave more money in external reserve than he met when he took over office. The external reserves as of May 28, 2015 was $29.44 billion. Banks' credits to the government rose by 3.77 trillion naira in the first 2 months of 2023. Figures obtained from the Central Bank of Nigeria reveal that the total government credit, which ended December 2022 at 24.66 trillion naira, rose to 28.43 trillion naira as of the end of February 2023. The CBN disclosed in its Money and Credit Statistics report that the credit rose from 14.9 trillion naira as of the end of January 2022 to 26.65 trillion naira in the corresponding period of 2023. The CBN, at its general meeting of the Monetary Policy Committee, said that the tightening of the rates was needed to moderate the effects of election-related spending and the liquidity associated with the proposed government borrowing in 2023. Finally, in stocks, the Nigerian stock market on Tuesday declined further as 8 stocks, and notably Dangote Cement shed 4.17% to close the day at 276 naira from 288 naira, driving the all-share index down by 1.16% to close at 53,124.63 points. The market capitalization closed at 28.940 trillion naira, shedding 341 billion naira. Market break closed positive as 16 stocks gained against 9 that declined in their share prices. An aggregate of 202.9 million units of shares was traded in 3,071 deals, valued at 2 billion naira. And that's it on business news. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Right away from Nigeria, dozens of people were killed and others injured after a fire started in an immigration detention center in northern Mexico near the U.S. border. The blaze occurred late Monday at a facility in Ciudad Juarez, across the border from El Paso, Texas. Mexico's National Immigration Institute, in a statement, said at least 39 people died in the fire. And finally, let's join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
LeBron James returned from injury after a 13-game absence but could not save Los Angeles Lakers from falling to 118-108 defeat by Chicago Bulls. LeBron James missed 27 games in total this season due to injury. James scored 19 points off the bench while Zach LaVine hit 32 points to lead the Bulls to a 7th win in 9 games. Lakers dropped to 9th in the Western Conference with 7 regular season games remaining. Team plays 7th to 10th in the Western Eastern Conferences. We contest the play-in tournament, with 2 teams taking the final 2 spot in the playoffs. Elsewhere, Cleveland Cavaliers beat Houston Rockets 108-91 to secure a playoff spot for the first time since James' final season with his hometown team when they lost in the 2018 NBA Finals. Jarrett Allen scored 24 points and 14 rebounds, while Donovan Mitchell hit 22 points for the Cavs. And in football, FIFA has increased the compensation paid to clubs that release players for the Men's World Cup by nearly 70%, from £170 million earmarked for 2018 and 2022 World Cups to £355 million for 2026 and 2030 tournaments. FIFA said in a statement on Monday that the club benefits program affords clubs a share of national team competition revenues in return for releasing players and also protect clubs in case their players are injured on international duty. A renewed memorandum of understanding was signed on Monday at the European Club Association ECA General Assembly in Budapest, Hungary. The MOU recognizes the central role of clubs in football globally and ensures that they are properly represented in decision-making. USA, Mexico and Canada will host 2026 World Cup, while the host for that of 2030 is yet to be announced as countries scramble for the signature of the centenary host of the Mundial. That's Sport News. I'm Adeni Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Don't forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Darshan Hussaina Usman. Thanks for watching.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.